Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We are back again this early morning, I think I should say, this early morning with Arsenal updates. We're gonna be trying to look at the the injury situation around Thomas Partey, around Tomiyasu and Kieran Tierney, and how long could they be out for. We'll be talking about Dominic Calvert Lewin as well. And then I will also be talking about a player in the names of Ryan Gravenberch. And look, before we get into all that, obviously we have to reflect on that game that we lost at the Selhurst Park. 3-0, humiliating defeat at the Selhurst. I think Crystal Palace were absolutely all over us, especially in the first half. I think they offered everything we could not offer. So hit the like button, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get to the content. This is the morning show.
Forward, Van Persie! Wonderful goal from Van Persie! Lacazette, here he is! Brilliant finish! He took it first time, and with devastating effect!
Rather lads, so look, I think the best way to start off this show is by, trying to reflect what happened yesterday and where do we go from here and where and how do we get out of it. Look, yesterday, brilliant football from Crystal Palace. I thought Arsenal were really damaged. I think it was a damaging performance. It was a damaging result. I think both psychologically and emotionally, our players are down at the moment. And I'm gonna say one thing. All these things are bound to happen. Look, even if you're Liverpool, even if you're United, even if you're City, or all these teams when during those spells when they were trying to get great again, there was a time when we were distracted. They were distracted. There was a time when they were destroyed, but it really doesn't mean it's the end of the road. One thing I think one or two points we have to pick out of there is you need options and you need numbers at any point in a season if you're going to be fighting for anything in a campaign, be it FA Cup, be it top 4, be it top 5, be it the league. You need a good squad because the 11 players the Arsenal field on a daily basis, they're not the best in the league and they're not the best in maybe in the top 4, but you think they've done quite a good job until yesterday. They've been winning games for us. They've been picking up difficult points for us. And I think, we can't turn our backs on our players right now. One point I think is vivid now, lads, is the transfer policy and the mistakes we made in January. That is it. Right now, Thomas Partey is injured. I've been trying to find information about him, his return date and everything. I've actually not found anything. So if I find anything yet, I'll be letting you know. We have Kieran Tierney, who is out with a knee injury, and today is going to see the doctors and is going through a scan as well. We have Tomiyasu, who just disappeared. But remember, lads, in January we were linked with a backup right back. That was Jed Spence, if you still remember. And that highlighted the fact that Arsenal needed a backup right back. In January, we were linked with Arthur Melo, a central midfielder. Now that Thomas Partey is injured, you see that, look, if Arthur Melo was here, it would be probably Xhaka would take on that defensive midfield role, and then Arthur Melo becomes the central midfielder, the box to box, which would actually see us through the season. Tomiyasu is injured. Kieran Tierney is injured. Look, with Kieran Tierney, I don't think I'm going to blame Mikel Arteta and Edu. I think Nuno Tavares is just failing to settle in as quick as other players. I don't think he's a bad player, and I don't agree with people who are telling me, look, Cossy, this guy will not make it at Arsenal and everything. I think he will make it. I think he will be a good player, but he's not settling in just like other players, right? Because if you look at the kind of role he's been given in Arsenal, very, very similar role to Kieran Tierney, and we all agree that at least in terms of being an advanced fullback, Nuno Tavares has got the skill set, and I think he enjoys more being high up the field rather than deep and narrow. What I don't understand with Nuno is, why does he keep committing the same mistakes every time? Yes, look, this is a young player, and they learn from mistakes and things like that. But look, the moment you're not learning, the moment you're not picking up from your mistakes, there is a problem there. There is a huge problem. So I think he needs to start learning from his mistakes. But the lack of signings in January has come back to bite us. I said that yesterday in my match reaction, and I'll say it again. The lack of signings in January has come back to bite us. And this time, lads, I don't know how we survive it. I don't know how we survive it. We don't know how long Partey is going to be out for. We do not know how long Kieran Tierney is going to be out for. That midfield, Odegaard looks he looks exhausted, and I think that is the importance of having a backup player in there. Just take off Odegaard and bring in an alternative. We don't have alternatives. We don't have options, and that really affected us yesterday, because that game for me, Martinelli coming on changed the game. We were better in the second half, but imagine if Martinelli had come on and then we had taken off Partey, who was actually poor, and we had taken off Odegaard, who was very, very poor. I still think in the first 20 minutes of the game, in the second half, that game was redeemable. That game was absolutely redeemable. But the fact that we have the same players that have been doing well, and now they're exhausted, but we have no options. We have literally hit the end of the road. Yesterday, it's not yesterday. I was watching the overlap with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher, and Gary Neville made a point and he said, "Look, I think with Arsenal now, their next," I think it was Carragher who said, "Arsenal, their next signings have to be an Alisson and a Virgil van Dijk." Literally, he really did mean that we should be signing Virgil van Dijk and Alisson. But what he was meaning there is Arsenal need these big names, these huge characters, world-class players, and those should be our next signings. And I totally agree with him. I'll be dropping my reaction to that video on the overlap, Carragher and Gary Neville, so very, very soon today. But I totally agree with him. I think what Arsenal need now, what we have, is a structure, but many of these players in this structure are fit to be on the bench. I'm telling you, with absolute facts, Xhaka should be on the bench. I think we can do with an upgrade there. Look, Tomiyasu, we can do with an upgrade there in that area. Whether it's Tomiyasu or Cedric, we can do with an upgrade. At least a very, very good right back. We could get an upgrade. Lacazette should be on the bench or out of this team. Personally, I've already said, look, he's done very well this season in terms of hold up play and everything, but we need a gunman. We need a gunman up top. We don't have a gunman up top, and at this point in time, we desperately need one. So that one, and I think either of Saka and Martinelli, one of those, if we can get a world-class winger, one of those then drops out of the lineup. Look, it could be Martinelli, it could be Saka. Both of them are very, very, very lovable players, and I love them. But look, if you give me a player like Richarlison, I'll drop one of them. If you give me a player like probably Rafinha, I'll drop one of them. And that is the point I'm trying to put across. Our next signings have to be huge. I don't care whether it's Lewandowski, Haaland, Gravenberch. I don't care. We need now the marquee signings, and we need them. But that was it, lads. That is what really happened yesterday. I think our lack of options is really affecting us. But moving on to the injury update. Kieran Tierney yesterday, according to Mikel Arteta, he was feeling not well. That is according to Mikel. Tierney was not feeling well, and he sustained a knee injury. That is according to the information I have. He sustained a knee injury, Kieran Tierney. So we don't know when it's gonna be coming back. Partey, of course, he was limping off as we considered the third. We don't know when it's gonna be coming back as well. Tommy, well, Mikhail told us that Tomiyasu is very close to coming back, but we don't know when is that gonna be, right? So it looks like we have a very, very huge problem on our hands. Now, moving on to what I wanted to speak about today in the transfer market is Dominic Calvert Lewin. Now, yesterday I looked at Alexander Lacazette and I was very uncomfortable. I'm telling you, lads, I was very, very, very uncomfortable. It's one of those matches where I felt drained, absolutely drained. But there's so many observations that I made. One, if Lacazette is not providing hold-up play to the team, if we are not in possession, if we are not using him in the build-up process to get goals, Lacazette literally gives us nothing. And this is absolutely true fact, true lies. Lacazette absolutely gives us nothing, right? Nothing when he's not doing this hold up play thing. He gives us nothing. And in my opinion, because look, there is a story today that Dominic Calvert Lewin would love to join Arsenal, and he sees us as a club that has got the ambition, and he would love to make a switch from Everton to a more ambitious club. I think Arsenal are more ambitious than Everton. Everton have just fallen off a cliff. But Lacazette, look, I've never seen a striker in my life that provides nothing in terms of going forward, like nothing. Yesterday we tried to create chances, and we might blame Emil Smith-Rowe, and we might blame Martin Odegaard for those chances that we actually wasted. But my question there, lads, is yes, we can blame anyone, all we want, but why are these chances not falling onto our striker? Why are we creating all these chances and there is no one to receive them? Alex Lacazette yesterday, he had a very good chance in the first half. I think it was a crossing from Saka, and look at the way actually I think there were two headers in the penalty area. And I'm like, look at the way he's meeting these balls. He's like a player who's not been. He's far away, disconnected from the fact that he's a striker, and that has also cost us a lot, really a lot, this campaign. Because look, we are fighting with Spurs. Spurs, how many goals has Kenny scored this campaign? Around 13, around 14. Already this campaign, clubs like United, despite the fact that they're not doing well, look at Ronaldo. Ronaldo has 18 goals this season. 18 goals. So our main striker, Lacazette, has scored 3 goals, and 2 of them are penalties. Right? I think one against he scored a beauty against Southampton. He scored a penalty, I think, against Newcastle, and either or Norwich or Leeds, right? So our striker literally, offers nothing when we are not using him as a number 10. There are times when you need your striker. There are times when those are games. The Crystal Palace game, that is a game where we needed a gunman up top. That is a game where we needed, a rock solid defender. A striker up top, and he was nowhere to be seen. So look, I know many people on this channel always tell me, Cossy, I don't like Calvert Lewin. I would not take Calvert Lewin, at Arsenal over anybody else. And I understand. And I understand what exactly you mean. I really get what exactly you mean by you don't want Calvert Lewin and you want either Nunes or you want Lautaro Martinez or Victor Osimhen. And honestly, I feel all of those are very good players. But what Dominic Calvert Lewin would give us at Arsenal is what is what matters. He would give us that threat of a striker because we don't have it at the moment. I'm not going to lie, unless you lads feel like we have it. We do not have it. Absolutely. 7 assists from Alex and Lacazette. Very, very good. But 3 goals. That is just not enough. Absolutely. That is not enough. And it leads us to the fact that it's either we are carried by Saka or nothing happens. And yesterday Saka was I think we rushed him. He missed international duty, and Mikel was saying that it could have been COVID, and we rushed him back. Obviously, we don't have options. That is the reason, because Pepe is also ill. So we rushed him back. You saw his body language yesterday. He was off. He was off, and he's the player that makes everything for Arsenal work. If it doesn't make it work, if it's not working for Saka, it doesn't work out for Arsenal. So lads, honestly, Dominic Calvert Lewin, the fact that he would even love joining Arsenal, I think we would get him with Champions League or without Champions League. And I think that is the fact that Arsenal should be considering one player that we can get with or without Champions League. Dominic Calvert Lewin. Look, the others, including Lautaro, Osimhen, they will look at Champions League. They will look at where are you? I think Dominic Calvert Lewin, apart from the competition, that is the only thing that I think would lead him to go. Look, I need to be in the Champions League. But if there is not much competition for him, definitely I think it will be a free ride for Arsenal. Otherwise, lads, that was bad. That was really bad. Now, the other player I want to speak about is Ryan Gravenberch. Now, look, I'm not really saying Arsenal could easily sign Ryan Gravenberch. There is a lot of competition on Ryan Gravenberch. Bayern are leading that race, and but there is a difference between the two clubs in on the price. Of course, Gravenberch has already agreed personal terms with Bayern, playing at Ajax at the moment and at Erik ten Hag. I think if he doesn't go to Bayern and Ten Hag joins Manchester United, there are high chances that he will replace Paul Pogba. But we want a central midfielder. We want someone who can hold the ball, keep the ball tight to his feet, and then create something out of it. The best option in that regard in the market right now is Ryan Gravenberch. Absolutely. Look, yesterday I looked at Thomas Partey and Xhaka, and I was really smiling. You know why I was smiling? Partey was giving away the ball because Partey yesterday gave away the ball 14 times during his time on the pitch. He gave away the ball 14 fucking times. 14 times. And you know what that means? If a player gives away the ball to that magnitude, you either need to take him off the pitch, or the only option we had was for Xhaka to elevate his performance, which obviously he couldn't do. Absolutely. He definitely couldn't do that. He desperately couldn't do that. Xhaka's performance, it is good. Xhaka is good when Partey is good, right? When Partey is poor, we literally have no midfield. So, in my opinion, Arsenal should go out. It is 37 million that is wanted by Ajax. Go get him. Go get Ryan Gravenberch. He's a gem. He is a gem of a midfielder. I think, look, I would have said Jude Bellingham, because I really love Jude Bellingham a lot. But the fact that Dortmund will be letting go of their main striker, Erling Haaland, this summer, there are high chances that there will not be a lot of opportunity for Bellingham to leave. I think Bellingham will leave next summer. I think he will leave next summer. But before we think about Bellingham, there is a player there for the taking, and that player is Ryan Gravenberch. Go and watch him on Ajax. Go and read his statistics. We'll do a video about him. I promised that, but I've been busy. But we'll do a video about him. And when you get to see what Ryan Gravenberch can do, you loads will tell me that, Cossy, this is the player we need. Look, Ruben Neves is good. Is all good. Douglas Luiz is all good. But this young man, that lad, I think if you're looking for our next Patrick Vieira, Ryan Gravenberch is absolutely the player to think about, right? So anyway, that is that is my call. Hi Cossy, how are you doing? Eric Wycliffe says already in the building. Missing Tierney saying Wycliffe. Good afternoon to you, Cossy. How are you doing, Anu? Wycliffe says for sure we lost the mid to Palace. And one player, yesterday we lost the midfield to Palace, courtesy of one player, Conor Gallagher. And we've got to be honest, Jacques and Partey have done all they could this season, and they have not been that awful. But we don't have a player like Conor Gallagher. We don't have a player like Conor Gallagher. Look, I think Odegaard is a very good player, and if you look at what he provides Arsenal with, excellent. But then just imagine if Odegaard played alongside a central midfielder like Conor Gallagher, because what Conor Gallagher gives you as a team is the pressures and the press. That lad doesn't rest, and he caused all sorts of problems. The first goal, he brings in the free kick. You still remember, and he kept on running. I don't know how much distance he covers as a player. And I would love to know how much distance he covers as a player, because he's a gem. He's an absolute gem. That's why I'm saying that Ryan Gravenberch would be an answer to Arsenal. 37 million, right? 37 million. That is a bargain. That is an absolute bargain. And look, it just doesn't occur to me why Ajax and not like Dortmund, because Dortmund sold their players at 100 million, 200 million, and Ajax never do that. They never do that. Ryan Gravenberch is being priced at 37, of course, due to contracts and everything. But Bayern are even trying to sign him at 27, at 25, 17 million pounds guaranteed, with 10 million euros add-ons. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yesterday we lost the midfield because Palace, yes, they worked hard. I think I loved Geoffrey Scarp. Yesterday in that game, he was loving life there. I think Conor Gallagher was loving life. I think Kouyaté was loving life. But a player like Conor Gallagher, that kind of player that just leads everything on, is what is lacking at Arsenal. He just creates moments for them. He busts our midfield. He received the ball in all the areas. And I think, the fact that he was running too much in the midfield, it meant that Partey and Odegaard could not find the right passes, because we were playing very slow football, and they were playing they were playing at a very high tempo. You know what that means is that before you realize, they have taken the ball. And we were too slow to win the ball. Actually, I think if you look at our Aston Villa performance, honestly, lads, if you look at our Aston Villa performance, what we did against Villa in that game is what Crystal Palace did against us last night. They were fast, they were good, they were confident, they were absolutely loving life. And we were miserable. And if you go back to our performance against Aston Villa before the international break, Villa were miserable. There was no Coutinho anywhere. There was no Jacob Ramsey. There was no Joe McGinn. There was no Sanson. There was no one. It was all Arsenal. And yesterday, it was all Crystal Palace. We just gave them the show. They ran the show, and today was what I've been listening to the White and Jordan show on TalkSport, and they were saying, Arsenal yesterday were known allowed. Of course, we've done that with many teams, especially away from home, and we're dominating. But yesterday we were not allowed, and we needed something different. We needed someone to lead the comeback. There was none. There was no one. Partey's game was over before it started. Odegaard's game was over before it started. And those are the two players there. Obviously, you had Saka, who was miles unfit. Miles and miles unfit. How I wish we played Martinelli and Smith Rowe, to begin the game, and then Saka, could come on later to be an option because he was unfit. I'm not saying he was poor. I'm saying, look, he was poor, honestly. But I'm not saying poor, but he's not good enough. What I'm saying is that he was unfit, right? He was unfit. He's coming back from COVID. We all knew that he was coming back from COVID, and because we have no options, we threw him in, just like that. We threw him in, and the rest is history. The rest is absolute history. Yeah, there, lads. That's it. So, look, it's a performance that I think Arsenal can overturn in our upcoming fixtures. We can overturn that. We can forget about that and move on. And I wish we forget about it, and I wish we move on. That is that is my humble take. I should move on. Kenneth says Cossy Palace defense was taking no pressure. There was no pressure from Arsenal. It's not only Lacazette. Because there is no way, Kenneth. There is no way you're going to put pressure on the opposition backline when you yourselves are actually giving away the ball all the time. There was no way. The midfield for clubs like Arsenal, City, Liverpool, Barcelona, Ajax, Dortmund, Bayern, Crystal Palace, right? The midfield is what determines everything. And you saw it yesterday, lads. If you go back to all the games we've dominated, if you go back to all the games we played well, it's been courtesy of our midfield. The moment you lose your midfield, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. And I think we lost the midfield yesterday. There is no question about that. We lost the midfield battle. Good morning, Cossy. If Arsenal want a striker, they better go for Haaland. Realistically, we've spoken about that yesterday. I think Haaland is miles away. Saleh says, I think it was last year in December that he scored in open play. I was just disappointed by Laka yesterday. Honestly, I don't want to take individuals. I don't want to blame individuals for yesterday's madness. But Lacazette has got. I don't know why he can't find himself occupying these areas where he's needed most as a striker. Because that is what I would want him to do. Occupy those areas in the penalty area. But he doesn't do that. I don't see him do that. He's always in the wrong places. And when crosses coming in, he's not the man to meet them. When balls are fed through, he's not the man to meet them. But he's a striker. We need to win games, even if we don't play well in the field. Top class teams. That's what like top class teams like Liverpool. Look, Liverpool are not unbeaten this season, and it's not the loss, lads. It is the nature of the loss. I think that is what we've got to get right. It is not the loss, because any team loses games, but it is the nature of the loss, right? Listen, we've talked about this time in, time out, that if Arsenal really care about going to the top four and being great again and the club we want to be, there are three things we have to do. One, you have to win games consistently. Two, you must have a consistent lineup, and three, you must win games in an ugly way. I think this season, to an extent that we are now top four, strong top four contenders, we've done that. Yeah, we've done that. We've had we've consistently won 10 out of our last 14 games. Actually, 11 out of our last 14 games. We have won games where we played ugly, and also we have found ourselves a lineup, right? So losing a game after doing all those things it happens naturally in the Premier League. This is not La Liga or the French League are, and we are not PSV and PSG, right? So we can lose a game. Liverpool lost to West Ham. City lost to Crystal Palace. They dropped points against Southampton and Crystal Palace as well. So it's not a shocker that we lose a game, right? What is shocking is that we lose a game in that manner. That is what is shocking, right? That is what is shocking. What is shocking is that we can lose a game in that manner. And for me, that is the problem. Laban says Arteta should leave the club. I think even if you listen, lads, whichever manager would have sat on that bench yesterday, right, and the players played like that, we would have lost the game. I'm telling you facts. Whichever manager would have been on the bench yesterday, and the players play like that, we would have lost the game. So look, I'm not trying to say 100% it's not on Mikel Arteta. I think the blame is going to go more to the players now rather than the manager. Because the way we gave away the ball, the way we didn't show any resilience in that game, the way we dropped a character, that is on the players. That is absolutely on the players, right? That is on the players. The manager, yes, he's got a role to play, but not to the extent of telling players, look, don't give away the ball so many times. Look, that is something that the players need to do themselves. You don't give away, because you don't give away the ball as many times as that. Really, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And that's what we did, and we absolutely lost that game, right? Lacazette is doing more damage than good. No, I disagree. I disagree with that. Let me show you this comment, and we debate about this. All right, Lacazette is doing more harm, more damage than good. I disagree. I think with Mikel and Arsenal, we are playing a system. And honestly, that system, right? That system is thriving because of Alexander Lacazette. Our press has been good because of our Alexander Lacazette. My problem with Lacazette is that when he's not part of the when he's not part of the press, when he's not part of the build-up, Laka is nonsense. Laka is useless. That is my problem with Lacazette. But he's not doing more damage than good. He's assisted 7 times in the Premier League, more than any other Arsenal player there. The goals that Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka are scoring, they're literally coming from Alexander Lacazette. He's not done more harm than good. He's not done his role. I think those are two very different things, right? I think he's done better than Aubameyang this season, because Aubameyang was on the pitch. He was not scoring because that is his speciality. He was getting the chances, open chances, easy chances, and not putting them away. And also in the build-up, right, offensive-wise, defensive-wise, he was providing nothing. So we were having a useless player in our captain. Lacazette is not useless. Lacazette is not damaging. The problem is that he is only he has one advantage, right? He has one advantage, and that is, look, if you give me the ball, I will hold it and give it to you, and I'll also try to feed you through. But don't tell me to score. Yes, I'm your striker, but don't tell me to score. That is the problem with Alexander Lacazette. How many people agree with me here? That is the problem. Lemon says he failed to buy strikers in January. We may not qualify for UCL. Let me say this, Laban. Let me say this. Let me first take this one, your comment. You've also said that I think players are tired of Arteta because they've been playing well in the previous games. You know, there's a question. Let us pose this question, okay? Let's pose this question. Are Arsenal players playing well because of Mikel Arteta, or are Arsenal players playing well naturally because they are good? Let me know in the comments below, right? That is the question. Are our players playing well because of Arteta, or are they playing well because of because they're good, because they're just good? All right. Look, in my opinion, these players are playing something. There is an identity, there is football, and there is a system. And that system of football has been instilled by Mikel Arteta. I do not think the players are tired of Arteta by losing one game. I don't think the players are tired of Arteta by being demolished in one game. Rather, I think the players have failed Arteta in that game. I think it is it's the vice versa. You know me. My opinion about Mikel. I've always thought Mikel is not the man to take Arsenal to that level where we are winning, right? And he's really proven me, maybe not wrong, because he's not won anything ever since I said those remarks. But he's showed me that he can build something, right? And honestly, if there is someone right now who can back Mikel Arteta to stay in this job, that would be Cossy. Controversial me. Yeah, controversial from me. But I'll back him to stay there for some time. Because I've seen what time can do. I've seen what giving a manager, because I never wanted to give him time, but I've seen what giving a manager time can do. The problems of not buying a striker in January, are they on Mikel? Are they on Mikel alone? Yes, it's part of the decision-making process on who comes in and who doesn't come in. But we saw how much we fought to get in Dusan Vlahovic. Honestly, we fought so hard. My problem, though, is that there were the likes of Luka Jovic that were available for the taking. We could have done one of them, right? Could have brought in either Jovic was there. Who else was there for the taking on loan in January? Jovic. We could have taken Jovic. I wouldn't have taken Morata. So I don't think Morata would have worked for us anyway. So I wouldn't have taken Morata. Maybe Jovic. Yeah, I would have taken Luka Jovic. Because in such games, those are strikers that you want. You want that chance to fall on that clinical finisher, right? On that really, really clinical finisher. But look, lads, this game doesn't mean anything in terms of Arsenal being now stranded and finished. Top four might be gone due to that result. I can't lie, but it doesn't really mean that we are done. I don't think it means we are done. It only means that we need to make sure that we are better, that we make our squad better. That's what it means. What spoiled the game is the benching of Martinelli and Tierney. Tierney is injured. Kieran Tierney is injured. Abram. Tierney is injured. Yeah. I think players are tired of Arteta. I don't think so. We struggle when teams put pressure on us, and when we gave away the first goal, we lost confidence. I think the point in that in that game is hard work. If you watched my match reaction against Liverpool, I said against City and Liverpool, I said Liverpool and City were overworked by Arsenal. So yesterday, we were overworked by Crystal Palace. And in the match preview, I remember saying that Palace know how we play, and we know how Palace play. The mistake we made was we came to play the same way we play, and Palace changed their game plan. They came to stop us. They came to deny us, and for us, we came like the privileged. And they didn't treat us with any royalties. They didn't. Big problem with squad depth. You talked about it in January. We don't that we are gambling to leave squad shallow. These results are more coming because Partey, Tierney, big pillars are now out. Absolutely, Kenneth. Absolutely, Kenneth. We tampered with our squad. We weakened our squad in January, and now that is what you get. That's what you get. Look, I'm not really saying that any of the players that we let go would have changed the game, but we needed to strengthen rather than weaken. That is what we needed to do, and we did none of them. Actually, we weakened rather than strengthen. We do not do well when we are behind. But remember, we want to get this season. We are beaten. We are beaten Wolves. We came from behind and we beat Wolves. Hey, look, let's not look for excuses. Let us face the truth. We were shit in that game, right? But we've not. The good thing is that we have not been shit all season. That is the good thing. Players had a form, and we just lost yesterday. Maybe it was a bad day in office. I think. Look, I could go with that explanation as well. Bad day in office. Yeah, I could go with that as well as an explanation. Our problem yesterday was the middle of the park. And no question there. No question, Arno. No question. Absolutely no question. Look, I think whenever you give away the ball, whenever you're not confident, you're just giving the opponent a starting point. And we gave Palace a starting point. Because you need to start well. And we started poorly, right? So the starting point for Palace in that game was not that they started well, was that we started poorly. And on top of us starting poorly, they became good, right? So you add their good starts to our poor start, there was no way we're going to survive, right? It was not even 50-50. It was not even 50-50. It was none. It was Palace 100% all over. Palace FC. Palace FC. There was nothing like Arsenal yesterday at the Sellers. Real facts. But anyway, lads, I think at the end of the day, this Arsenal side can do better. I don't know if you agree with me, but I think we can do better. That has been the morning show. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will speak to you later.
Van Persie! Wonderful goal from Van Persie! Lacazette, here he is! Brilliant finish! He took it first